Why hello there, it's Nuclear Weasel here, bringing you another deck tech. This one is definitely one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Legacy deck to play. I know it like the back of my hand. Oh, hey, is that a mole? Anyway, I know it like the back of my hand, and it's definitely one of the best Legacy decks out there, in my opinion. And without further ado, we get right into it. To start off, Legacy Elves. Birchlore Ranger as a 2-of is a great way to start off. I've seen decks play 1 or none, but I feel like 2 is a very solid number. Mainly because if you have this, Nettle Sentinel, and just a few other pieces like Glimpse of Nature, Gaia's Cradle, and like a land, any other land, then you can combo off turn 1 or 2. Turn 2 is most likely better than nothing. But this card allows you for you to do that. I've done it before. It's very difficult, but it is definitely possible. Following that is a 4 of Kiran Ranger. I used to be playing 4 Birchlore, 2 Kiran Ranger, but because of the Wasteland and Delver decks that you really just not really have a problem with, there's a bug flying around that's annoying. You don't really have a problem with Wasteland, mainly because they can never lock you out as long as you have your basics. But you just gotta be safe. So starting off a turn 1 Birchlore or turn 1 Kiran Ranger is really solid. Birchlore sets you up for later in the game. Kiran Ranger protects you from being locked out. Kiran Ranger is just really good for combos and allows you to reuse your lands if you have maybe 1 or none in hand. Nettle Sentinel, powerhouse of the deck, untaps whenever you play a green spell, and considering everything in this deck is green, he untaps all the time. He's a 2/2, and with 2 of these and an elf every turn with a Glimpse of Nature combo going off, you get to basically play your whole deck with 2 or 3 of these. It's really fun, and he is definitely a key factor in this deck. A 4 of Wirewood Symbiote is a necessity no matter what way you look at it. You never go down on them. With your whenever you sideboard, you always keep 4 because they protect your elves at all times, keep them safe, and well, they allow you to combo off with your Elvish Visionaries. There we go, and keep going with your Glimpse of Natures. Got it. Got the bug. Your Glimpse of Natures. So you just can keep comboing off and drawing your whole deck, which is kind of what you want to do. And then we go into Deathrat Shaman. Everybody knows how good this card is. There's a reason it was banned in Modern. And leading off with this on the play, or on the play, eating their fetch lands and then going off is still a really solid play. Or just slowly draining your opponent's life away, or gaining life with all the elves that are in your graveyard, their graveyard. Yeah. Deathrat Shaman is a necessity. He may be a mana dork sometimes, but other times he is definitely a key factor. I've seen people force a will Deathrat Shaman. So, I mean, there's got to be a reason, right? And now we have the main reason why you can play this deck so easily, and that is a Heritage Druid. Tap 3 untapped elves to add 3 mana to your mana pool. This allows for you to combo off extremely easy. I mean, you can go down to 3 of these and like put another land in. I'm actually running 1 land short in this deck than most people are. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I love Heritage Druid, and I can never go down on it because it is a great card, and whenever I have it in hand, I don't ever, just think, man, if only this was a land. Because just about every one of your guys produces mana, in a sense, with this Heritage Druid. Birchlore Ranger, Kiran Ranger untaps a Dryad Arbor, so I mean, when are you ever out of mana and you just need lands? Heritage Druid is a great card, and I suggest you pick them up now before they go any higher than $13 each. Now we're away from the 1s, and now we finally got into the 2s, and that's a 4 of Elvish Visionary. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. It's an elf that draws you a card that you can just keep comboing and using, so there really isn't much to explain about this guy. And then we have Reclamation Sage. Alright, if you're an elf player, you're watching this video, you just want to see what other people are playing, great. If you're new to Elves and you're new to Legacy, Elves has the worst, and I mean worst, almost 100% loss ratio against Miracles. You cannot beat Miracles hardly ever, unless you're extremely lucky. Because of the top counterbalance combo, everything you just saw, there was at least over 20 Elves that were one mana or less, meaning counterbalance top will lock you down completely. I stopped getting locked out after I started playing this card. Against Miracles now, I have a much better chance. Once I have Reclamation Sage, I am no longer locked out of the game, and I can continue to play Magic in a sense. Reclamation Sage is a must-have. I was playing Ruikthaur instead, because I loved just playing Ruikthaur, locking out people that love to play non-creature spells. I mean, burn, it's turn 2 Ruikthaur, they can't win. I mean, turn 2 Ruikthaur against Delver is also really good. Miracles is still really good, but I'd rather be safe than sorry and play one of Reclamation Sage. And then you go into your natural order targets, which is, in my deck, 2 Craterhoof Behemoths. I've seen people play 1 Craterhoof, 1 Progenitus, 2 Craterhoofs, a Ruikthaur, 1 Craterhoof, a Ruikthaur, a Progenitus, and a Craterhoof. Really, play whatever suits your meta in your area. Progenitus against Junk. Jund is a little bit harder, but Junk and Jund, it's almost a guaranteed win with Progenitus. And then you have Regal Force. I mean, I've seen people play that too if you just want to draw your whole deck and keep going. But Craterhoof will just 98% of the time finish the game, so you just end up winning. Now we go into the non-creature spells. 4 of Green Sun Zenith. It's my optimal turn 1 play is to play a land, a Green Sun Zenith for 0, grabbing a Dryad Arbor. That way I'm up 2 lands on the play. Or on the draw. I mean, I'll do this on the draw too. It's a little bit harder if you're playing against a blue deck, because that way you can fall victim to Stifle and or Daze. So it's not really safe to do it on the play, but on the draw. But on the play, you snap do that. Because, I mean, playing a Deathrite Shaman's really cool, Birch Lord, Kieran Ranger, all great. Being up to land is just, it's always a plus. Then we have the 4 Glimpse of Natures, which allows you to draw your whole deck fairly easily. I mean, everything you just saw was 1 or 2, except for Craterhoof and the Reclamation Sage, which Reclamation Sage is 3, not much different. So basically you can just combo off and draw your whole deck fairly easily. There's a bug sitting on that card. I flicked it and it just stayed. Look, it's walking on it. Yep, so you play the 4 Glimpse of Nature. You never really go down. I mean, even in sideboard, I'll take 1 or 2 out sometimes, depending on what I'm playing. When the combo just, as much as I would love to have the combo and just combo off, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Like, boarding these out for Abrupt Decays is just fine. If you're on the play, board in Thoughtseize or Cabal Therapies. I mean, other 1-drops and just cards that don't sit in your hand forever. I mean, good choice. And then we have the main reason this deck is a thing, is Natural Order. For 4 mana, you get to sacrifice a green creature, search your deck for a green creature, and put it into play. Meaning, you sacrifice any one of your 1-drop elves, and then you go and grab Craterhoof. It triggers for like 4 or 5, and all your 1/1s are now 5/5s or 6/6s that are sliding into victory. Natural Order is a great card. Awesome. Very, very powerful. And I've seen people play 3. That's also very fine. I mean, you don't really... Sometimes I've had like 2 or 3 Natural Orders. The other day I had 4 Natural Orders in my hand, which was pretty awful. Which I just played both and got double Craterhoof, which self-explanatory wins the game. But yeah, 4 Natural Orders is pretty cool. 3 or 4 is the most optimal amount that you want. Now we go into the lands. Pretty basic. You're going to have your 9 fetches. Excuse me for a moment. I play 9 fetches. It doesn't matter what fetches they are, as long as they fetch for green. Your whole deck is green, so green. That's all they have to do. You can do 4 Windswept Heaths and 4 Verdant Catacombs, 1. It just doesn't matter. As long as the fetch is green, it'll work. So 9 fetches. I've seen people play 2 basic forests. That's the 10%, or the everybody that plays Elves really plays 2 forests. I've seen people that play Ruikdar main board, they'll go 1 forest, 1 taiga. That way they'll always be able to hard cast Ruikdar, which 1 to 2 forests is optimal. 2 bayous. I've never seen anybody go over 2 bayous. Bayou is not really necessary until sideboard, in which you only need 1 or 2 early or late game. So 2 bayous is all you really need, and 2 Dryad Arbors. No less than 2 Dryad Arbors, 2 bayous. I mean, and then like 9 fetches. I've seen people go 10 fetches, but you never go less than 9. None of these you really cut down more than 2 of. It's 2 bayous, 2 forests, and 2 Dryad Arbors is the given for almost all elf decks. Unfortunately, it also is a 4 of a Gaia's Cradle, only I do not have my 4th just yet. I'm waiting for it. Waiting to get the funds to buy it. I finished Stoneblade before actually getting my 4th Gaia's Cradle for this deck. I just played a 3rd forest in its place, which is just fine. You really only need 3 Gaia's Cradles. 2 is a little bit too not enough, but 4 is almost, you should grace Magic, or you should grace Wizards for allowing you to play 4 of this card, if play the card at all. Because Gaia's Cradle is the best card in this deck. Adding 1,000,000 mana for your millions of dudes, and then just going and hard casting a Crater Hoof, or double, triple Natural Order, it's really, really great. So you should kiss Wizards' feet every single day for allowing you to play 4 of this card. Legendary rule didn't even apply to this card. I mean, people boarded it in against other elf players just so they could bomb out their Gaia's Cradle, because it was that big of a deal. If you play your Gaia's Cradle first, you win. But Gaia's Cradle is necessary. You must have 4. I don't have 4. I'm working on it. But a 4 of Gaia's Cradle is a must-have. Onto the sideboard. I haven't seen very much deviation from the way this is. 2 Thoughtseizes. I've seen people play no Thoughtseizes, 2 Thoughtseizes, 4 Thoughtseizes. Cabal Therapy is also a sideboard card that changes a lot. I've seen people play 2, 3, 4. This card is great because you can turn 1, play your Bayou, name a card, you get to see their hand, play a bunch of dudes, sack your dude, get it out of their hand. So I mean, Cabal Therapy is almost always basically a free Thoughtseize. And then you have, my edition is 2 chokes. I hate blue decks, so choke, I mean, if you land a turn 2, turn 3 choke, what are they going to do if they can't counter it? They'll just lose. I mean, wear and tear is always an option, but the only deck that boards that in guaranteed is Miracles, in which they're already worried as it is. They have to keep the nuts hand, and choke will just, well, choke them into playing some other cards. A triple of Abrupt Decay is mandatory in all elf sideboards. I've never seen anything go less than 2 or 3 Abrupt Decays. You must have Abrupt Decays because Counterbalance cannot beat Abrupt Decay, Counterspell can't beat it, Force of Will can't beat it, nothing can beat it because it's uncounterable. So you play as many of these cards as you really can or want to, because you hate getting locked out of Miracles, and, well, overall, Abrupt Decay is just a great card. Modern, Legacy, no matter what format it is. For the one-ofs, a Sylvan Library for the long, grindy games. Ruikdar, which he might come out, I'm not quite sure, but a Ruikdar because against the non-creature spell decks, you just kind of want to lock them out and make sure they can't do anything. Virginitas, basically against every deck that does not play blue. You bring this in because then you just win. Pithing Needle to stop Jace, not counterbalance, Jace, top, other planeswalkers, Thespian Stage. There's all the good cards in Legacy. You just want to stop them from doing good things against you. Null Rod against the Painter decks and or Mud. So, good card. And then a little weird one is Surgical Extraction, because I can't stand when I lose to Reanimator. So, pretty much you just want to bring this thing in against Reanimator, because this and Deathrite Shaman are your babies. You want to protect them at all costs. This will win you the game 98% of the time if you're playing against Reanimator, because you just rip their one target that they put so much effort into putting in the graveyard, and then you just go off. And so Surgical Extraction doesn't hurt you because you play black, and, well, you can afford the 2 life. You can either get it back or just win. So, Surgical Extraction does not hurt you at all. And that is Legacy Elves. Not much deviation from anybody else's Legacy Elves. Mine, I used to play 4 Birch Lords, and I was really the only one who ever did it. But I conformed to 4 Kieran Rangers because it's a little bit more consistent. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please rate and subscribe. Give me any ideas that you guys have. I'm always open to criticism, constructive, even, deconstructive criticism is also good, because it allows me to see other people's point of views, and I can make it to better myself and my playing style and my deck. So please leave a comment below, rate, subscribe, like my videos, tell your friends about it, watch it, share it, do whatever. Thank you again. I'll see you guys later.